Live. Welcome to the FC13 Podcast live watch along. This is the third one we've done the last couple of weeks. This time we're moving away from country though, and we are on to club continental competition tournament Concacaf Champions League with LAFC taking on Vancouver Whitecaps. It's just me for now. Michael's here. Hopefully Andre would join us later, but right now it's just me. And don't worry though, I can still provide the same amount of entertainment and quality. Let's crack open the bubbly. There we go. And again, thank you for watching. The game's about to kick off shortly. Maybe it's 10 p.m. kickoff, so we got about 5 minutes, close to 5 minutes. So we're going to check out the starting 11 for Vancouver. Okay, so we got Takoka and net, Vazelanfic. Jesus Christ, you can tell how late it is. It's 10 p.m. for me, even though it's like 7 for people out west, maybe. I don't know, but it's bloody day here. Okay. I also just can't pronounce shit. So we got Blackman, Brown, Gressel, Kubas, Gold, our boy Ryan Gold. You listen to the podcast, you know we're a big fan of Ryan Gold here. Ryan Raposo and Russell Tibia, 2 Canadians in the starting 11, which is very nice to see from Vancouver because that's actually a little bit rare. We get 2 Canadians in the Vancouver lineup. It's rare we get 1, in all honesty. Then we got Brian White, who had a great game on the weekend. And we got DeJong, who's getting a start. I don't think he started in a league match this season. This could be his first start of the year. So that's interesting to see. A good Vancouver veteran, though. I'm a little bit surprised we don't see Betcher in there. Betcher had a really good game on the weekend. I understand you maybe want to rest your boys and get them set for, you have other competitions going on. But as of right now, Betcher on the lineup, on the bench, sorry. We also have Karifa Yao and Cameron Habibullah on the bench, which is nice to see some former CPL lads on the bench. Karifa Yao did get the start in the last Vancouver Champions League game, which they did lose, which is a little bit, which is a little bit upsetting to see Karifa Yao back on the bench, but we understand how strong LAFC is, potentially the best team in the MLS, and some people say that they might be the best team in all of CONCACAF. This is what this tournament's here to decide. So anything Vancouver could pull off in this game is a huge, any points, whatever you get in this game is a huge thing to pick up. So hopefully Vancouver could get maybe even a draw. It would be huge. And honestly, if they get a big enough lead, why not bring on someone like Habibullah to give him his experience? He has the speed, he has the pace. Great player. He was one of my favorite players to watch in the CPL last year when it came to youth players. So Habibullah would be a nice one, again, just to see squeeze his way into the lineup. He's only 19 years old, and I don't think he's actually played a game this season for Vancouver. I don't think he's came on as a sub at all. He might have had games with Vancouver Whitecaps too. He's had at least one, and he scored in it as well. So that's, hey, you know what? You perform at one level, they're going to bring you to another, right? So hopefully, maybe we see some Habibullah or Karifa Yao. I don't think we'll see Yao unless maybe we'll see Yao if it's a tight game and, maybe injuries or cards come into play and they need maybe shut down the game a bit. But I don't think we see Yao, maybe Habibullah. And again, I think we see Betcher as well. Betcher's one that I'm surprised isn't in the lineup. Let's talk about their goalie, though. I'm a big fan of Yohi Takoka. He's had a great start to the season, big saves, key moments for this team. He's been a great, potentially their best off-season move, I think. He's made some huge saves. Some of the he's kept Vancouver in a lot of matches. This is his first year with Vancouver, so first year in the MLS as well. He's coming over from J League One, J1 League, sorry. So. Yeah, you know what? He was a target. They got him. And I think whatever Vancouver does this season, however far they go, I think a lot of it's going to rely on him. I think a lot will depend on him because I don't think Vancouver's necessarily a strong team. If you listen to the podcast, I say they're actually maybe a pretty boring team. But then last weekend, they go out and spank Montreal 5-0. So what do I know? I mean, Montreal, though, is having a rough season. So it's hard to really go into that game and take notes away from who was the better side, who's struggling here and there. But I do believe Vancouver is showing more potential than Montreal, that's for sure. And I think Vancouver could pull the upset tonight. I really think they can. And because it's something like Concacaf Champions League, anything can happen. We saw Violette from Haiti beat Austin. And once you see results like that come in, it means anything. Anything can happen. So I don't think Vancouver will win, but you never know. And I think it's a possibility. They can. A lot of people are just ruling them out. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's very slim. They're not looking good. I will disagree, though. I think the confidence after beating Montreal 5-0 can carry over to this game and create a lot of confidence and potential in this match. And I think they could do it. Well, obviously, we'll see. It should be a good game. I can't see one team spanking the other, but if anyone's going to do the spanking, I guess it would be, in theory, it would be LAFC. Let's look at LA's lineup because they have a very solid squad. But yeah, I mean, they have Vela in, who's one of their best players. It has been for a long time. You got McCarthy starting in goal. I believe he started all 6 matches for LA. So that makes sense. Obviously, Crepeau is still injured, so we won't see Maxime Crepeau, unfortunately. That would make it a lot better for this live stream, considering Canadian, we do our thing here. They also don't have Chalani in either, which isn't so surprising. He's an older guy, maybe, and maybe use him more for league games, and maybe he'll come in as a late sub, maybe something similar to if Yao comes in, just a guy to come in and shut the game down and keep it calm and have it. And he's an experienced guy, so he can literally just come onto the field at any point, really keep the team calm and collective, especially if they start dropping a lead. They're rolling their top guns without Caprell, obviously. Yeah, they are. I think this is probably the best Vancouver side we would get. I think DeJong, I think this is his first game of the year, at least his first start. Again, I could be wrong, but I believe that's the case. Everyone else on Vancouver is pretty much regulars. Russell Tirbert, he hasn't started any of the 6 this season, but he is a veteran player. He's an experienced player. He's played with Vancouver for a long time now, since 2011. So, Vancouver loves him for a reason. He's playing there for a reason. Former Canadian international. I think you other than Tirbert, who's kind of been pushed out of the lineup this season, and DeJong, I think this is probably the best team we'll have from Vancouver to move forward. And hopefully our boy Paul's watching this, praying on the souls of Ryan Gold. No Cervantes either. Yeah, it is. Again, LA's maybe taking a step back, I think. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I think I was thinking about this earlier, like how serious does MLS teams take this competition? And I think they take it seriously, and I think they want to win it, obviously. But to me, when you're putting a star on your jersey for a league season win and not the Concacaf Champions League, I'm not saying it changes priority, but it may raise questions where you hold the priority. That's just a feeling I have, because, I mean, I don't like that they do the league wins. I'd prefer, like, when Seattle won it last year, if they had a star there for the Champions League opposed to league. But hey, MLS, you do you. I mean, every team has put a star there, so it's hard to argue it. That's their thing, and cool. That is the MLS thing. You win the league, you put a star on it. But yeah, so I don't want to say that they don't take this game seriously, and especially the first leg, you can play a little bit around with it a little bit more, right? With the first leg, especially at home for Vancouver, I think Vancouver's home on this one. Or is it away? Where are I? Or am I just BC play? Okay, yeah, they're in Vancouver. So I think being at home, it gives Vancouver a little bit more flexibility. But LA, they could definitely if you go down and you lose, you have the league game to worry about on the weekend. You come back with a stronger lineup. Kind of think it's do or die at this point, and you just hope that the first game doesn't get away with you. I'm hoping Vancouver puts up a good attendance as well. Vancouver, I find, struggles at times, but I think they have the potential of burning up a good crowd. Concacaf Champions League is a weird one where people care but don't care at the same time. Like you definitely get more appearances on the league, but again, it's different because weekend games versus week games. I shouldn't compare the two, but and also I do not like these LA jerseys. I think they're gross. These are not nice jerseys. Vancouver's the classic jersey. You gotta like the Vancouver Whitecaps jersey. It's classic. It's bold. It's what they do. But the LA jerseys, I don't know what the fuck those are. They're gross. I hate that. See, when Man City puts the logo in the middle of their jersey, it looks cool on that bright blue with the logo. But this LA one's just gross. I do not like it. They do stars for 10 leagues in Europe. Example, say Juventus has 2 stars for 20 league titles, and Rangers have 5 stars for 50. Like, yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, because that's a collective. Like, that's an accomplishment. That's an achievement. Bayern Munich does it as well. But again, like you said, it's for a collective of them. Like, not just they don't do it just for the one, and maybe they do it for one. I never noticed. I don't know. Maybe they do. Again, to me, it's just I compare. This point, Patrick is a black. Yeah, no, Paul. I was saying the same thing. He was one guy I was surprised to see not in the lineup, especially after last weekend. But you know what? Maybe he comes on as a late sub, and maybe they're just saving him for league and seeing how this game goes. Right? You want to see how the game plays out before you put in like all your baskets, maybe. But back to the Stars. Again, it's not. I think it should be held to a higher standard. That's just my personal opinion. You hold a star for the World Cup, but you don't hold a star for Euros or or Gold Cup, that type of thing. So I would personally do it for continental accomplishments, but again, it's the MLS thing, and like you said, other teams do it as well. TFC does have the one, and I know again, every MLS team does it. Every MLS team who's won the MLS League playoffs will put the star up there. You go back to DC, they do it. You go back to LA, New York FC, Toronto FC, Portland, Seattle. Like, I get it. They all do it. I know they do it. Like, it's just something I prefer if they didn't. And I like what the CPL does. The CPL is very fun with it. They give not a star, but they give a maple leaf to the current winner. And then on the arm badge, they'll have like a gold circle with the number of trophies you've won in it. That I like. I think that's really cool. It's very creative. It's very original. And the maple leaf on the top of the jersey, that on the top above the logo, I think Forge actually has it under the logo this year. That moves every year, and that's cool. I like that. And also kind of smart marketing for jerseys, right? Because if your team wins it, you want that next year's jersey because you'll have the maple leaf. You're not going to miss that year's jersey. It's smart marketing as well, I think. Remember that time Man City had 3 stars on their own badge for no reason? Yes, I do, and I hated it. Hated it so much. I remember when I first got into soccer, I was like, hey, Dad, like, the fuck's with these 3 stars? He's like, there is no reason. I'm like, what? Like, you think there would be a reason. Most badges have reasons for everything. You look at Huddersfield. Huddersfield has 3 stars as well. But because they were one of the first, if not the first, English team to win 3 League One titles in a row. So it made sense at the time. Like, yeah, that's cool. You're the first to do something. Hold it proud. But yeah, no, Man City's like, when they change their little badge as well, I don't know if you guys prefer the older badge or the newer badge. I didn't like the new badge at first. I like it better now. And I like their older badge. I don't think it was bad, but the 3 stars made no fucking sense. Yeah, the CPL is sick. I love the numbering as well with the line. Yeah, no, I think it's super creative. And I think it's the one very original thing about the CPL we could say we have, other than the new playoffs, but we all know that's not going to last, is it? We are not going to stick around and see that CPL playoff format. I don't think, especially as we expand and grow, we better not see that CPL playoff format last. 100% the new badge. Yeah, again, I don't mind it. At first, I didn't like it, but I've come to terms with it. Here's a fun question. Do you think if Atletico Madrid changes their badge in a totally different way, they totally change it up, do you think that might influence Ottawa to do the same? That's a fun little question. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, that crowd looks empty. Fuck Vancouver. I like how they say, oh, we'll support the country but not the club. And that's always rubbed me the wrong way. Where TFC, I think in Toronto, the club is highly represented with the national team as well. Like they both do pretty well, especially if TFC is playing good. But yeah, no, it's weird. Vancouver's crowd right now. I hate it. Again. I know it's midweek game. I know it's Champions League where maybe they don't market it as much. And I think North Americans definitely prefer just league games. They're more accustomed to it, maybe. I don't know, but the crowd is very disappointing for Vancouver. Can't wait till the CPL gets in here to see how they do it. Like, imagine like if Halifax Wanderers get into this, or even York. Let's say York into Concacaf Champions League, and you have like this 1,200 seat stadium or whatever they hold, bringing the club like fucking the Club America or Tigres or something like that, or even like someone like TFC. You have to think if they get someone like TFC, you move that game to BMO. Like, I don't know, that's just my opinion, but York United and Concacaf Champions League might be a funny thing to see, especially once they get that home game. Oh, is it 4,000? I'm sorry. You don't sell more than 1,300 tickets a game, so my bad. My bad. It's hard to know what you actually hold. My bad. But yeah, it's still be funny. I think it's to be funny. Even Halifax, who holds like roughly 6,000 to 7,000, I think could be an interesting one. It's kind of like, all the teams in England talk about going to Luton on away because you have to walk through people's houses to get to the away stands. It'd be like that. But no, that's cool. It'd be a little bit more like, what the fuck are we playing in? Especially for the bigger clubs from Mexico. I'm not making Thomas very happy right now. That's okay. I'm sorry, Thomas. Thank you for watching. Keep up with the support. The game started, by the way. It has kicked off. Vancouver have the possession right now. Again, I don't know, guys. What do you think, LA or Vancouver? And either in this game or as a whole, do you have much hope for Vancouver? Because I've seen pundits and everyone really just put Vancouver down. I think they can do it, and I want to see Vancouver do well. And this is something I've said for a while now is, with Canada getting the World Cup in 2026, I want to see the clubs really start to produce and put in good efforts. I want to see Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver all do well, winning the MLS, winning, even if it's the Supporters Shield, getting into CONCACAF and making some noise, putting some damage in. I think it's important to see. I think it's important to see that the Canadian teams right now really succeed. Even in the CPL. I mean, I know at the CPL it's our own level, and obviously Canadian teams are going to do well within the league. But more than that, make some noise. Get people talking about our clubs, not just our country. Not only with 6 Champions League strolling into the stadium throughout 4. Exactly. That'd be fucking amazing. That's what CONCACAF needs. That's what CONCACAF is built for. I think Tim Hortons Field, you have to walk through neighborhoods. Yes, you do. But it's, I don't know how to explain it, but you do go through like neighborhoods, but it's still like sanctioned away. Like it's, I don't know, you would have to see it. I have done the walk through the neighborhoods to get to Tim Hortons Field. And I don't know, maybe it just made sense, but I mean, it's still not like walking through someone's backyard like you do in Luton, right? LA's pressing hub, and they've had the ball, I think, for the most of these 4 minutes here. Oh, good chance. Oh, fuck! Almost blundered that one. Went to clear it and missed them. Thank God no one from LA was behind them. I'm not entirely sure who that was. I think it was Blockman. But yeah, he totally missed the ball there. And LA, if there is someone behind them, LA will definitely smash that in. That is unfortunate. If I want to see Tim Hortons Field, what's the best way to get a ticket? Well, you see, Paul, through SeatGeek, using the code FC13 Pod on your first purchase of SeatGeek, we get you $20 off. And you know what? The CPL season coming around, and you know what? Soccer's in full swing now. Take advantage of it. Go to see Forge, go see Atletico, go see York for $20 off, and they're already cheaper tickets, right there. It's not like going to an NHL game or even an MLS game. It's going to be cheaper. So that's code FC13 Pod to get $20 off your first purchase through SeatGeek. That's a good question, Paul. Good question. And there's Ryan Gold as well. Did you guys see today? Not today. I think the interview was released yesterday. Ryan Gold says he's not ruling out playing for Canada. 10 out of 10. You're welcome. So Ryan Gold said he's open to playing for Canada. He said he's not ruling out changing his citizenship so he could get the call to the Canadian men's team. This was on an interview with One Soccer, I believe it was. So that was very, very cool to see. Ryan Gold can't put his name in the hat there. There's no way someone could get tickets for so cheap with such a good deal as well. Wow, SeatGeek is just awesome. SeatGeek is great, and I've actually used it before. It's a very reliable thing, and I love SeatGeek for that reason. Especially if tickets are sold out, you can go on there, just get last-minute tickets. It's great. I've used it before. I've used it for NHL. I've used it for concerts. SeatGeek is one of the best you'll get when it comes to ticket apps. And again, can't go wrong with $20 off anything, right? If I was giving you $20 off rent, you'd take it. So take the $20 off the tickets, Same thing. The money's a cycle. It's a circle. The $20 you save there will go back into something else. Think smart, not harder. And we're just over about 7 minutes in, and to be fair, but LA's really been keeping hold of this ball for now. Vancouver, I mean, it's hard. You gotta be defensive on this team and play smart. Like, you don't want to push too much. You want to keep control of the ball when you do get it. We don't want to see Vancouver fall. Like, you just gotta make better passes than whatever that was, and that's out. Yeah. What are you questioning, dude? Blink-182 tickets cost one and left on SeatGeek compared to other sites where it costs 2 arms and 2 legs. That is true. Blink-182's ticket prices were insane. I could not believe. And it's not just them. Everyone's ticket prices right now are fucking mental. Absolutely mental, man. But you know what? It is what it is. Fuck. I mean, I've been looking at concerts for the summer because everyone likes to do outdoor concerts, and you go on there and it's just like, why would I spend this much? Like, I'm not interested in spending these tickets. And honestly, I went to 2 concerts last summer and I wasn't impressed. Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe I'm getting old and I don't like these big crowds anymore. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But I was not in the mood for any of that shit. But yeah. Oh, Vancouver won it back. That was an important win back there. Get possession back. And Vancouver's keeping the possession in their own end pretty well, but it's moving up. They're having problems. LA's cutting them out quick, cutting off the passes, and making more of a push. And they forced the long balls like they did there. Oh, but Vancouver. Okay. Vancouver on the break. He's no real opening, and he puts it right into the LA defender. There was not much you could do there. It was tight. That was a good example of how LA run the defense. They block you out and they shut down the passing lanes. Like I said, the ball went right into the feet. There was nothing he could do there. You will need one of the defensemen to slip up for that ball to go anywhere and have potential. But again, even if Vancouver pulls a draw or pull off the win, we know this game is going to be majority LAFC. We know this game is going to be tight from LA regardless of the score. They're going to be pushing regardless. And that was a good win there. Even the supporters section in Vancouver is looking a little bit low there, which again, just disappointing to see. But again, you get the 2 guys on one, you block the passing lanes. They have nothing. They're giving nothing to Vancouver on the outbreak, and they play that high line as well. Oh shit! You know what I want to see? I want to see hopefully Vancouver finally learned the defense high balls and stuff. We'll see. That's definitely been a weakness of them this season. And you know LA know that. LA's going to try to expose that as much as they can. But again, you just hope Vancouver learn from it, because how many goals would you say they've let in that way? It's been quite a few. So I'd like to see. Look, LA's looking for it right now. They're looking for that. They're looking for the cross in on the corner of the box. They do have to move it back, but again, they're looking for it. They literally look for what you just tried to describe there, Paul. 100%. Another high ball, and yeah, look, he's looking for it. Oh no, he went low. They're playing the ball outside the box. Like again, like look at all the space LA have. They have a lot of space to make these passes. Good block though. That would have been the first strike, and we got the first corner for LA in the game as well. Yeah, no, that was a good example of what LA is going to be doing tonight. They're going to work around the box, create the open lanes, and make the strike. But Vancouver gives so much time and space, so much. Like, I understand, like, it could be hard to cover all that, but you got to do a little bit better. Like, you cannot have teams basically doing what they want. They're not forcing the ball. They're allowing them to move around and make the passes that they want. But good clearance there. Good clearance. No, I want to see. Have any of you seen the new Ted Lasso episode? Let me know so there's no spoilers. But I want to see a game like we just had in the new episode of Ted Lasso. That would be fun. That would get me excited. This would get the stream excited. They'd be going off like crazy. I just love Ted Lasso. I got Apple TV specifically for Ted Lasso this season. I've never had it before. I used to watch Ted Lasso at my parents' house, so I did not have to buy it. Oh, good break for Vancouver. Oh, fuck! He went looking for the pass. The Germany went looking for the pass instead of the shot, and Vancouver wins a corner from it. But wow, that was close. That was close. That was a good opportunity for Vancouver right there. Beautiful ball in, but again, he looks for the pass, and the center back had it. He does his first. He does get the Vancouver's first corner of the game, though, which could be huge, could be important. Let's see. And it's in. No one's jumping. Oh, nah, there's too many LA in the box, and yeah, you know what? They didn't. That was no convincing winner of the. Oh, they're still alive. Oh. Oh my God. So close. Vancouver just missed. Wow. That was a good attempt. That was a great attempt. My Lord. Got another quarter out of it too. Come on, Vancouver. It's up. Oh, yeah, I can't call that. Oh! Vancouver's contesting for a handball, but the ref's saying no, you pushed them. Are they going to go to VAR? Will they go to VAR? Oh, the one that they just missed hit the tips of the fingers of the goalie. Just missed up. Good fingers, but no, they're not giving the handball. They are calling the push. I think VAR is taking a look at it. Oh no, I think they're switching out the ball. I think that's what's the hold up. They're switching out the ball. Okay. I guess the ball was soft, or I don't know. We don't want any Tom Brady incidents here, I guess. I want to keep the ball inflated, not inflated. But yeah, no, that was 3 really good attempts for Vancouver. Very good. If Vancouver can keep that up and we see more of that from Vancouver, we may have a very good competitive game here. And hopefully, again, I do want to see Vancouver do well. I want to see them win. Especially you take out a team like LA. They have a good chance of going to the finals. They're on the weaker side. They do get, I believe they get either Matuga from Honduras or they get Leon. Club Leon, and I'm gonna go check it out right now. Who won that game? I think it was Leon. Last time I checked, it was 1-0. Let's see. Club Leon. 5. All right, no, it's not 5. It's Tigres. Sorry, fucking Tigres. Sorry. Yeah, it was a 1-0 final. Okay, so I was watching when that goal did go in. Matuga had a lot of good chances though. They could have definitely pulled the upset there. But at the moment, I think the winner of this does get the winner of that matchup, which again, we could definitely see LA or Vancouver pulling off a win against Tigres. Would not be surprising. But obviously, they want Matuga, right? You want the club from Honduras to pull it off. And that would be great to see as well. They'll be back. I believe they're at home their next match, Matuga, which would be huge. Once you get that home field, I'm just let's double check where were they playing. Oh no, they were in Honduras. Never mind, that was their home game. So Tigres has a away goal. Ouch. I mean, you could do it. They could. It's going to be hard, but let's hope for Matuga to do it. We'll come away from that now, but because I just saw Cavalry FC release their jerseys for this upcoming season. Let me know if you guys have seen it in the chat. Drop your chats, comments. Do you like the new Cavalry jerseys? Do you like them? Do you hate them? I'm not a fan. I am not a fan. I don't understand the black one, and I don't really care for the red one either. It's just plain. It's bland. I'm not a big fan of them. Let me know if you've seen the new Cavalry jerseys. I'm not a fan of them. They might very well be the worst that we've seen released in the whole CPL now. They might be. But I'm not going to let it say too much because we might have a fun video coming out doing a CPL ranking jersey video. So I say they might be the worst one, but doesn't mean Andre and Paul agree with me either. So as of right now, that's all I'm going to say. But Vancouver's coming back up, and they're looking the pressure to put in some they're bringing some confidence with them. Like I said, they would. Again, they look solid, though. They've had a good start to the match. They could easily be up 1-0 right now. Unfortunately, they didn't. Unfortunately, they just didn't pull it off. But they do have the possession in their own zone right now, though. And since they had those chances, they've kind of cut back LA's possession a little bit. Oh, good ball over the top. Put down, though, by the LA defender. And then goes on for a goal kick. Again, you know what? Vancouver's looking good. Vancouver is looking good. And you know what? The time to win is at home, right? The away game is so important. So if you can shut down the team on the road, it's massive, 100% massive, and that's what gets you the wins, right? You shut down those away goals, shut down the away team, and you focus on yourself. And the home game means so much. You can see again the reference Violet and Austin, like that 3-0 win at home for Violet was massive, and they lost even in Austin. They lost 2-0, but they already scored the 3 at home, and so it didn't matter. It's the fact that they shut Austin down on the road, and it made all the difference. And we got another throw in here for Vancouver. We're about the 18th minute mark. On my end, I'm watching through Fubu. I know One Soccer could be a good minute or so ahead of me. We noticed that on the last live stream we did. But here comes Ryan Raposo right now. Good to see him in there. Like I said, Ryan Raposo, this might surprise some of you. Ryan Raposo is the only Canadian to start a match for Vancouver FC this year. He's the only one. And he's done 3 out of the 6 matches. And in those 3 matches, he never even finished the full 90 minutes, surprisingly. So, I don't know. It's nice to see him in here, especially with Tierbet as well. La 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 la. I don't know what they're singing. I don't know what they're singing. La la. My TV's muted. So I have no idea what they're saying. All right. LA, nice long ball though. It's put up by Raposo. Good header from Raposo as well. Good shit. And that's the one thing that they've done good this game is they've stopped the shots coming in, and just as much as they're letting LA pass and get those opportunities to move the ball the way they want, they haven't let a lot of shots on goal or even towards goal. They're blocking out the shots, and I guess you give the pass, take away the shot. As long as it works, it's working. But Vancouver's letting a lot of goals this season, and as Paul suggested, they do it in a very typical or specific way. So it'd be good to see them shut out LA the way they have done so. And let's go look at LAFC's former now. I want to know how they've been doing. Let's go see. Football. Mob. Mob. Okay, there you go. Because I'm very familiar with Vancouver's little form. They are Vancouver, if you're curious, are 1-3-2. And I believe they've picked up points in the last 4, I want to say. Beating Montreal, drew LA, drew Minnesota, drew Dallas. So in the last 4, they've picked up points. So the 2 losses they've had came at the start of the season. It's very similar to Toronto. The only loss Toronto has was the first game of the season. And since then, they've at least gained draws. Not good draws, but they're getting draws. But let's go see LAFC's farm table. LA has started the year with, they haven't even lost. LA haven't even lost this year with a 3-2-0 record. Who have they beat? That's a good question. Who has LA beat? They drew Colorado, maybe a bit surprising. Beat Dallas, drew Seattle, good draw. Beat New England and beat Portland as well. And actually, they have lost in the calendar year. That they did lose to LD Haloriano. Sorry, that's not how you say it. Maybe Halorianze. Guys, you know me. I don't say this shit. They have lost this year in their second leg of the Concacaf Champions League match. 2-0. But again, they already got the job done when they had to, so it didn't really matter as much. But yeah, no, LA's on good form in the league. They haven't lost to an MLS team this year. And then another good ball in by Vancouver as well. Oh, that was LA keeper. They nearly gave that one up. McCarthy that was close. McCarthy almost gave that right to a Vancouver player, it looked like. But no, this game's been a good one so far. It's been a good, entertaining match so far. Good back and forth. A little bit more than I expected. It'd be nice to see Vancouver make some noise at Concacaf. It's always nice to see because, I mean, we've had Toronto in the finals. We've had Montreal in the finals. Both weren't able to get the job done, unfortunately. But if I'm not saying Vancouver will or won't, but I think it does. You take out LA, that's a huge step to doing so. Because, like I said, some people do consider LAFC as one of, if not the best team in all of CONCACAF, not just the MLS. And when you bring in players like Chiellini, yeah, they're going to show that. Even though he's 38 years old, he was a good player. And he played in Euros last summer. Sorry, he played in Euros for Italy when they beat England. So he's still obviously a solid player. Here's a good comment I just read about the Cavalry jerseys. Should have been green again. That way they could hide all the grass stains from Escalante's dives. That's funny. I like that. I think Escalante is a very good player, underrated, but he definitely has those antics that you're just like, dude, cut it out. But he was a very solid player for Cavalry last year. Oh, a bit of a collision there. Oh, there's Mark Dos Santos on the bench. I forgot that he's part of LAFC now. Yeah, those who don't know Mark Dos Santos, he's a Oliver Fury legend. You want to see a crowd get around a coach? You should see what he did with Oliver Fury back in the day. Holy shit. I mean, remember when Atletico Ottawa fired Nista? Everyone's like, bring back Dos Santos, bring back Dos Santos. And it looked like, there's potential of it happening. But ultimately, he turned it down. And I believe he turned it down. He said he was going to try out Europe. I'm assuming that didn't work out since he's now an assistant manager on LAFC, unfortunately. But hey, Marcos Santos, he's a great. I will be surprised to see that guy never coach the CPL. I'll be surprised. He's done such a good job, and his brother's obviously managing Valor right now as well, Philip Dos Santos. So Mark is a great coach, and I hope he finds a full head coach, head manager job in the future. He definitely has potential. He had a hard time in Vancouver. Didn't have a great time there, and he brought San Francisco Delta to a trophy as well back in the NASL days. So I'm just reading a message from Andre, our co-host of the FC13 Podcast, who is sponsored by SeatGeek. I will do that. I'll give you a little bit more time before that one. All right. Vancouver had a free kick quite far out of the box. Oh, but they got a court. Oh, in the box at the top of he hits the player lying down on the ground. Hurts. The shot comes right off, and then he's countering. I believe there's 2 players down at the LA end. One of them is their own defenders. Yeah, it looks like they might go back and look at them. I don't know who it was, but he took the shot. He went down on the corner. It looked like maybe it was an elbow or something to the face. And then the ball to the top of the box, and he kicks it right into the fucking guy on the ground. I think it's Carlo. Oh, it looks like he tripped on his own 2 feet, honestly. And then he gets a swift kick up the ass. He's just lying there like a fucking mannequin as well. Beauty. He just flinches as I hits him. Fucking hell. But no, Vancouver's doing well. Vancouver's doing very well right now. Good to see. Again, a lot of people just ruled them out. I kind of did as well. I think Vancouver FC. I can't remember what I said there. No, that's gonna be such a problem. I was writing something earlier today, and I kept putting Vancouver FC, or I kept putting Vancouver. I'm like, I want to specify Whitecaps because, I mean, now that there's 2 teams in Vancouver, it sucks. And the fun part is they can actually meet up in the Canadian Championship if the results go the right way. So that's something fun to look forward to as well. Is seeing a potential Vancouver derby. I'd love to see that. Love it. It's what the Canada needs. Is a good inner city derby. I guess we have it with York and no, because York is not in Fort. Sorry, never mind. GTA, sure, but it's not inner city. I mean, we could get. It'd be cool if maybe Ottawa South End, who play in the PLSQ, get drawn against Atletico Ottawa. But now that they're official partners with Atletico, I wonder if they're now disqualifying from the Canadian Championship. Like if they won the PLSQ, would they even go to Canadian Championship now? I don't know. I don't think they would. Because imagine they draw Ottawa. That'd be fucking hilarious. Like Atletico Ottawa play what they call now? So Atletico Ottawa South End United or some shit. Like they have a long ass name now. It'd be interesting to see how those guys come intertwine. I don't think they've really established what that means either, though. I don't think so. Possession-wise, right now, Vancouver's it's 57% for LA, which 43% for Vancouver, which is that's not terrible. Vancouver is outshooting them on and off goal. LA have 1, where Vancouver have 1 on goal, but LA's 1 shot missed the net. So you know what, Vancouver's doing a very good job right now. They are putting up a good fight. Good to see. Good to see Vancouver. Or should I just say Whitecaps? I don't know. I'm going to fuck up in the future. Don't worry. I'll be talking about one and literally be saying the other one. That's the new problems now. I wonder when Manchester United and Manchester City came around, if that was ever a struggle. Manchester, you talk about United. No, I'm talking about City. And it's what the fuck? And that's when Man United was no, we're United. We're not Manchester United. We're United in your city. That's just how it is now. Until you see Newcastle fans saying, you know what, we're above Manchester in the standings. We should be called United, and they should be called Manchester. It's what? No, dude, that's not how this works. LA had a very solid chance there. Good defense from Vancouver to clear it. Oh, is he in? Is he? No, he's met with the LA keeper. McCarthy came out and cut out the lone striker. Holy shit, who was it? It was White, Brian White, damn it. Brian White was almost in, but the goalie came out and kicked it away. So that was a pretty solid chance for Vancouver. Oh. But, come on. Very, very solid chance. It was Robert Raposo. I thought so. Raposo was the one who did the good challenge, but he got hurt on the play as well. But he did a great defensive play to keep the ball away. And Vancouver's doing very well. We're in the 30-minute mark, 15 minutes till halftime. And yeah, he did come back up. Oh, but again, just blocked off. And it's so collected and knocked away from LA. Like, there's no panic. They just get it up, get it out. The LA's so, like, look at that pass. That's so, like, you're under pressure and you're able to take a second and find your partner. Very, very solid play from LA. The bloke of the year, though. Who's the bloke of the year? Is that me? Am I the bloke of the year? How you doing? Thank you, Irish, for watching the watch along. Thank you. I'm assuming you're Irish. Are you from Ireland? Are you watching the game in Ireland? Vancouver's up here though, and again, the Vancouver LA's up here. Vancouver has a good chance. Like, there's good shutting them down. And they've done ever since great ball in, but he blunders it. Oh my God. What a fucking ball. And he blunders it. Who was that? Was that Okapu? No, it wasn't. I think it was Vela. Holy shit. He put the ball over the heads and he was in. He was in and he just puts it wide. That was the best chance of the game. Holy shit. And it was, what a blunder. Yeah, no. Oh, he's from America. But I'm also Italian and German and American. Well, you're just the jack of all countries, aren't you, buddy? That's good. That's good stuff. So when it comes to international, who do you support more, though? You live in America. You're American. Are you more on the American side, or would you go for more one of your Europe ancestry there, bud? But holy shit! And then again, Raposo puts it, but LA's back. Oh, good defense. I'm not even finished my thoughts on how fast they're working. That far for real? Oh, come on. So, what club do you support then? He can't believe it himself. He can't. I still can't believe he missed that. He can't believe he missed that. Oh, you follow more Europe? Okay. It's been an exciting game. It's been good to see. Like, this is what you want to see from Concacaf. It's just exciting games that keep you intrigued and entertained. Like, and the LA and Vancouver's doing a good job at it. They're keeping people in, like, good shit. It's been real good shit so far for Vancouver and LA. It's gonna be a different story, I think, once they're in LA. But right now, being in Vancouver, it's been good shit so far. For Vancouver, anyways. I mean, like, LA is going to be good regardless. Good ball again. Dude. Was that Raposo? Raposo's having a great game defensively. Holy shit. He has done so many good things keeping this ball away and just, holy shit. Raposo's man of the match so far. Has to be. Has to be. It's not even a question at this point. He's having a great game. Irish, who did you say your favorite club was? Do you have a favorite club? Or are you more of an international guy? Let us know in the chat. And if you watch the chat, everyone drop your favorite club. Let us know who you're supporting. Go on. I think it's getting a little bit more calm now. They can't be more collective. They'll be being a little bit more cautious on the defensive end, and that's keeping Vancouver off the ball right now, which I think is important because Vancouver's keeping a lot of pressure on LA at the moment. Yeah, PSG fan. Yikes. That's a yikes for me. That's okay. I'm a Sunderland fan. So Sunderland and Atletico Ottawa. So yeah, that's a PSG's a yikes, just like year in and year out. You go, oh, and Mbappe's one of my favorite players, dude. I think he's the best in the world currently. Oh, great ball for Vancouver, but not a good run. Oh my. Another great chance. Like Vancouver's doing well getting that ball in, but just finding someone on that ball is a different story at the moment. But I love Mbappe. I think he's great. I think he's probably the best player in the world currently. And I don't blame you for liking PSG. They have a lot of attraction for sure, but Champions League is just not their thing, is it? And you think Messi will have solved that, but apparently not. So we all think Messi's going back to Barca. Is that what we're leaning towards, or will we see him in Inter Miami? Maybe. I know Paul's been vouching for Inter Miami for a while now. If you check out our last podcast, which you can find on Spotify at the FC13 Podcast, we talked about Messi potentially going to the MLS with the rumors of all these teams, all teams collectively paying his fees to be there. And long story short, we're all disbelieved and disgusted by that. If it's true, even if it is true, gotta go. All right, buddy. Thank you for joining into the chat. Make sure to subscribe and check out our content. Check us out on Spotify as well, bud. Thanks for watching. But yeah, in our last podcast, we talked about the potential of Messi coming to the MLS, and we were not a fan of that. We were not, and I don't think we'll ever be. And it's not that we don't want Messi in the league. I think it's a possibility we could see Messi very well in the league at some point of his career. But what I don't want to see is sub. Thanks for the sub, Irish. What we don't want to see is every team in the MLS fund for Messi. Oh shit! I'm not alone anymore. I got a brother. How's it going, Paul?
I just heard things I don't want to see, and I thought, that's a bold segue. I finally join you.
Oh, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. I was just telling the audience here about our last podcast, going over Messi potentially joining the MLS with all the teams potentially funding for him, and how we're not a fan of that either.
Can you imagine Vancouver having to subsidize Montreal as well, just the way their seasons have gone so far?
It's you're having a rough year. Here's Messi. Have fun with them.
You don't get to have fun with them.
You get to
look at the fun you could have.
Yeah, exactly.
So to fill you in the audience and at home, I'm not that far done work. When I was on the when I was watching LA, I was walking home from work, so I haven't really seen much of this game. It looks as if, from my understanding, LAFC have dominated the possession so far.
It's been pretty tight. Right now it's 63-37 for LA, and yes, they have. But Vancouver's probably had more chances as a collectively, but LA's definitely had the best chance. Which I wish I hope they show it on the highlights so you can see yourself, Paul. But the miss that LA had was such a blunder. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I'll try to catch it.
Vancouver has had very solid chances where they either just can't find the late man in the box, or they're, especially earlier on, they had 3 back-to-back chances where it's oh my God. And it was a good save from McCarthy on one of them. He just got his fingertips to it. Another one just went wide. I think Vancouver's been way more competitive than I expected.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's kind of why I was annoyed that Betcher didn't start as well, because the man's been on fire right now, and I feel like this is going to be a game of few chances for Vancouver. And Brian White is clearly a serviceable striker for sure, but if I could have a chance fall to anyone in Vancouver in this game, I'd want it to be Betcher at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Betcher had a very good game on the weekend. So again, I said at the start of the streamers, I'm kind of surprised not to see Betcher start, but at the same time, do you put all your eggs in one basket for the first leg when you're still concentrating on league as well? Maybe Betcher's more of a second game start.
It depends. I think that might depend on the context of this game. Like if they need a goal going into like Los Angeles or not. I certainly think we'll see him in the second half. Like one way or another, whether like Vancouver want to chase a goal. Oh, nice little flick there from Brian White, and that's what he's good at. Okay. Oh, good ball in there to Ryan Gold.
You got a good minute on me, don't you?
Oh, couldn't find White there.
That's been the story all night. It really has been. Just finding that last striker, the final touch in the box.
Cresswell on the ball, puts it back into the midfield, shot from distance, and it goes White. Oh. Can we talk about BC Place, please?
Oh, I already covered how surprisingly low it is.
The crowd, I'm not going to say, I understand maybe it's a bit strong, but there's a lot of off the field apathy in Vancouver towards the team, and most notably their board. But like, I feel like it's probably the most uninspiring stadium in the league. I feel like.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like I was saying on the stream before you joined, this is a team or a city that claims they'll sell out Canada games, but when you're not there for the club, it's hard to defend that. Where at least TFC.
Edmonton.
No, I meant to do well, I guess 100%. But where I felt like Toronto, with TFC playing good, they do good club and country wise. For the most part, they do.
But the problem is, like, there's been a lot of like, how to keep this friendly for YouTube. There's been a lot of bad touchy allegations, we'll say, in Vancouver over the last couple of years. That's still to be straightened out. Yeah, I think it's just years of like underperforming. Like I'd be apathetic as hell against this team as well. Like, and there's options as well there. Like, if you live in the island, Pacific are doing great now. If you live a little bit outside of the metro area in Vancouver, you got Vancouver FC starting up, and they look like a very exciting prospect going into this year. Like,
Yeah, I think. Sorry,
it's not just Whitecaps, and like, Vancouver is kind of a bit like Toronto. So you got a lot more entertainment options there. Like, you've also got to compete with, I know this is the case for a lot of Canadian sites, but you've got to compete with Canucks games. But you've also got Seattle down the road as well, so you've got to compete with baseball as well. Yeah, it's like there's a lot more. There's a lot more there to keep you occupied.
Yeah, and going back to Vancouver FC, I think they've brought in possibly the best coach we've seen come into the CPL. Yeah, he definitely has the best resume that we've seen coming into the league.
Yeah, I don't want to say he's the best. It just feels a bit disrespectful to Bobby at this point.
Well, I mean, just
the game, but like
by best, I mean like new arrival. Like,
I know
coming into the league.
That's what I was going to say. Like, just like as an appointment on the day.
Yeah, that's what I mean by.
Like I think it's because like I feel like a lot of management changes in CPO, like none of them are really surprising. And
no.
So like they'll just kind of come along as they do. Nothing's ever like, you don't get like shock firings or anything. So it's exciting to get this.
He's a huge guy. This is a guy who's been to the World Cup twice in his career, I believe, as assistant coaching. He's going to bring experience, and he could bring a good resume of players with him too, if he has those connections, right?
I'm really excited. Like I said, I've been high. We'll kind of save this more for our CPL preview, but like I feel like I've been really high about Vancouver for a while now.
You have, and honestly, I have my points, and when we've talked about it, I've got to save my points for the podcast when it comes to Vancouver.
I know, like I'm trying to hold it in here. This is premium content we're giving up for next week.
But I do have my hopes for them, but I think I fall a little bit short of yours. I know you're high on them, but Vancouver's made some great moves. They brought in potentially one of the best players the league has seen as well. I'm blanking on his name, but he's from Mexico. He's won the Concacaf Champions League. The point that falls off with him though is once he left Mexico, he went and played in New Zealand, which could maybe differ of his actual skill.
As far as I believe, he played for New Zealand's A-League team, so it wasn't as if he was playing in the New Zealand Premier League. Like the A-League is still a high league. It's
a top flight,
to MLS.
Yes. It's a top flight, but it's not.
Vancouver got very lucky there. Good break of the ball. And you got to make this count. They got bodies going forward on this break.
Yeah, New Zealand's a top flight. Not taking away from New Zealand, but.
Ball nearly breaks in Vancouver's favour there on the edge of the box. Doesn't quite get it in time there.
Yeah, I hate that poor ball. Yeah.
One of the things about BC Place as well, like I feel like it's almost a stadium in the MLS of an era gone by. Like you look at how many soccer specific stadiums there are in MLS now. I mean, even like Toronto and Montreal have one.
Yeah.
And so to see Vancouver play in a glorified arena, it's not really inspired. It's not really inspiring. I don't like it. It's a crappy looking pitch. I don't like the fact there's a roof. It's really uninspiring. And it's a shame.
Yeah, no, I
You got to make this count. Put the ball out left.
Like, I don't know what it is. In Vancouver,
Take your time. Oh, you don't need to hit that across the box so quickly.
I don't know what it is about Vancouver when it comes to their attendance, but it's one that you always see it. You always see that it's rough to watch at times in the crowd. Like you just say to think, why is there no one there?
It doesn't look like an enjoyable place to watch the game, I think.
No, like the atmosphere is just not there. I 100% agree with that.
I don't think it's conducive to that as well. Like BC Place, as far as I remember, like it was built for the Expo in the 80s, but like it was also built with baseball in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have played MLB. They have played. I don't know if they were regular season or preseason games or not, but they have played MLB games there back in the day. And obviously, as well, it gets used for BC Lions from the CFL. Like it's not built with soccer in mind.
No, I agree, and it's always like I know MLS had a hard time with that at the start of this. Like their MLS, like you have a lot of baseball specific stadiums and stuff like. And isn't
got one.
New York still plays in a baseball stadium, right?
We finally have what looks like plans to get them into a football specific stadium, but like in the short term. Or do you remember last year? Like there was a whole two pages long of scenarios about where New York would have to play playoff games depending on the playoff form of the two New York baseball teams. It was like this is a bit embarrassing now, isn't it?
It was rough.
It's fair enough the first couple of years, but like, and I'm sure there's reasons behind it. Like zoning laws in New York or like NIMBY complaints or something, whatever it is. But you think of all that money Man City have, like how hard can it be to like just, I don't know, buy an old unused warehouse in New York or something and knock it down?
you think Manchester's looking at it. By the way, those who are watching, it's 0-0 going into halftime, which I think is a great result for Vancouver at this point. We know how big LA could be. We know how LA push and challenge the MLS. I mean, again, potentially one of the best in Concacaf, not just the MLS. So Vancouver to go into halftime 0-0, I think it's a huge accomplishment at this point.
It's crucial that Vancouver don't lose this game, especially because away goals are a thing in CONCACAF. For those who aren't familiar, like away goals are being eliminated from UEFA competition, but they're still a thing in CONCACAF. So, like, I think if Vancouver can get out of this with, like, say, a 0-0, I think that's a fantastic result.
I agree, and I think it's so important to shut down the away team when you have that home field advantage, and then you got to go on the road and just focus on what you just did at home, right? So, going away to home, it could be a different game. It could be night and day, and we've seen that before, where being on home means so much more.
Yeah, and the thing is, in LA they'll play on real grass.
Yeah, that is true as well.
Do you think that's an advantage? Whitecaps are a team who try to play football. Like when they get things going, they're a really good team to watch. They just don't put it together consistently all that often. Like we had the whole Montreal game. We had the first half against Utah. We had spells against Minnesota. Like when this team are good, they are really good. So like you're thinking that hopefully you get them on grass under the lights. LA are a team with aspirations of winning the MLS again. I think you were talking about it earlier, like the motivations for MLS teams. I wonder if that might have changed now that Seattle have broke that glass ceiling.
Yeah, I know. So do I. Like, I
hope it does.
Yeah, it's very curious to think. Okay, well, they did it. That means we could do it. But I guess it's maybe it could be looked upon as like a fluke. It's like, oh well, they did it. Doesn't mean they'll do it again. And maybe they need to see a couple twice, MLS. Yeah, you need because sometimes exactly. Yeah, you need to see the proof. One time isn't proof, right? But I think the MLS. You said before to me, Paul. You think the MLS has ambition to be one of the top 10 leagues in the world, and I think they're very close to that already. I think they're making the push, but clearly there's a difference between them and Liga MX still.
Yeah, I feel like the gap's getting a lot closer, and like as well as like obviously Seattle. Oh, I've seen some of the highlights there. Vancouver came really close there, shot going just past the post. That was a really close one there. That was Thanks, One Soccer. Thanks for that
That was
highlight.
that was one of the segments of like 3 in a row I was telling you about. It's like how close it came.
They threw me off. They threw me off my chain of thought just for one highlight. I was going to say we've seen MLS teams make the final plenty of times, so like, they have came close.
Yeah.
And but like I would love to see an MLS team win it again this year. More than anything,
sure.
I think like Mexican football needs it as much as MLS does. Like with the decline they've had over the last couple of years, like for their sake, I hope they an MLS team wins the final to give them a boot up the butt.
Oh, I agree. Obviously, it's something you want to see. Talking about seeing something. I have to ask you: did you see Calvary's jersey release?
I did, yeah. I think I posted it on the group chat. You might be a bit busy. You might have been a bit busy at the moment with this. First impressions, I like it. I'm not too keen. I like the subtle sort of like mountain on the side of it. The away kit with the lightning bolt. Don't really get that, but like
That's what I was saying. I don't get it.
You do get. I think they're going for like more of an Alberta thing because you do like get some pretty cool storms in the summer in the prairies. You don't really associate it with Calgary as much. Calgary is kind of like in the foothills and it's just outside the mountains. Obviously, with there not being any Edmonton, you noticed that in the promotion they were doing for this kit launch, they were like really. They weren't looking at it as we represent Calgary. They were looking at it as we represent Alberta. There's been a marketing shift there, and they're trying to take advantage of Edmonton being dead. It looks like, which go for it.
Yeah,
like
100%.
I think you definitely should.
I agree, and the jerseys to me, a little bit of a spoiler maybe, but one of the worst I think we've seen in the CPL this season. I think they've undershot compared to everyone else.
I'll have to see them all together because, like, seeing them all individually, like they all pop. Like, it's not until I'm going to see all of them side by side when we, we eventually get a chance to review them all together. Like, I'll be able to say if, I think I like every jersey, but I don't know which one's worse. Like, I do like some more than others for sure. I see some of them are different as well because, like, with a lot of the teams have been in the CPL for the longest time. You can look back at past jerseys to compare. Like, if you look at the Vancouver jersey, for example, I don't know if that's a good or bad jersey, like from a Vancouver standpoint, because it's our first one. Like, I don't have a jersey from last year to compare it to, if you know what I mean.
Fair. But I mean, you
like,
just go off by generally do you like it or not, I guess. But
yeah, but like for example, I can look at the Halifax jersey this year and go, oh, I like that a lot, especially compared to the one last year. Or I can like, I'm not saying this is how I feel about it, but like, I can look at the Forge away jersey and say, oh, I don't really like that one when you can compare it to the one last year. Like, you don't have that advantage with the Vancouver one. So that one's going to be, when we do like sort of grade all these, that one I feel is going to be a wild card. Like, I have no idea where I'm going to put it right now off the top of my head.
And that's totally fair. Vancouver, I think Vancouver's not decent. Their away jersey is actually something I somewhat predicted to myself. I think it was
very Dennis the Menace looking.
I'm okay with that. I'm 100% okay with that. And Pacific came down a bit, I think, because I mean their away jersey last year was so cool. This year,
they're keeping it.
Are they keeping
it? It's being kept as a third jersey.
Okay, so they'll still wear it probably once or twice or so.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I said I'm gonna be in Victoria like during the season at some point. So like if the stars align, it's a good price and all that. I might treat myself to it, but we'll see. Don't quote me on that.
Ooh, your first CPL jersey. I'm definitely getting Ottawa's away one. I have all the other away jerseys, so I want to keep that in my collection. And my brother has all the home jerseys, so we just say you get the away, I'll get the home. Whenever one of us dies, we get the whole collection.
That's kind of our thing. Well, I was gonna say that's really cute, but then it went a bit morbid. But like, we'll focus on it being cute.
Hey, we're doing it for each other at this point. It's one of the things I'm more excited about going to the game in Ottawa, the opening weekend, is to get my away jersey.
I don't actually know what the club. I didn't even notice what the club shop was when we were there, but we had so much going on when we were last at an Ottawa game. So like, it would be probably fairly easy for me to miss it.
There's at least two, and they're right behind the seats. If you remember the stadium layout, they're kind of like where the concession for the food and drink is, just beside it almost.
Oh yeah. I think I know what you are. I just would have missed it at the time. I got
and
the CPL kickoff in front of me. Like it's really close now. Like
Yeah, which is like a week away,
three of the
basically.
4 games are on the 15th. If York versus Villa being on the 16th, it kicks off with 2 games that. It kicks off with the Ottawa game, then it's Forge, and then the Pacific one. That's going to be a lot of fun, especially because I'm going to have to watch. I'm going to watch them all at home.
And you might be the only one to actually get to watch them all. With me and Andre being in Ottawa, there's a good chance we'll miss like the next 2 after the Ottawa match, and I might even miss the York one on the Sunday, just depending on my travels. But I'm hoping I get more than just the one game on opening weekend.
I'll be your VAR guy. If there's any contentious decisions, I'll be your VAR guy.
Last year, I recorded a lot of the games. I came back and watched them, but I don't know if I'm going to do that with those games. We'll see. Because also on the Tuesday, we get the Canadian Championship kicking off as well.
Yeah. I'm there's a big push of TSS Rovers about selling tickets for this, and like I really hope for their sake and the Canadian soccer itself, it's a success.
Yeah,
like it really grinds my gears that the whole cost of putting the thing on falls on the home team for like a cup competition where it's just a random draw.
But I mean, they give teams the option to not play at home. We've seen a lot of teams do it. We've seen CPL teams do it.
I think it just puts like the lower league teams and like the lesser financially well off CPL teams just at unfair disadvantage though.
I'm gonna be right back. Keep it going. Keep it talking. I'll be back in a couple minutes. I'm just gonna go quick potty before the cap comes back.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like it would be hard enough as it is if you're a CPL or a League One team having to play an MLS team. But the fact that the MLS team can essentially buy the home advantage because, like, if you're the lower league team, you can't necessarily afford it. It just doesn't really sit right with me from a competitive standpoint. And I feel like we've got a good chance there to open the game up in other areas. Like, for example, last year we had Guelph versus Halifax. Guelph United took like a big financial hit from hosting that game, but like it brought professional football to the, I don't know if it's a town or a city. I don't live in Ontario, if you can tell. Like it really brought the football to the area and gave something new. So you'd like to see that as much as possible. Like we've never had in the last couple of years, we haven't had a PLSQ team host a Canadian Championship game, which was something that'd be really cool, especially because we're trying to grow the sport in Quebec. Certainly from CPL, like we want to get a CPL team in Quebec. Like if anything's pan-Canadian, it doesn't become like totally pan-Canadian until you get a team in Quebec, just about culturally significant and economically significant they are in the country as a whole. Like it's the second biggest province and it's the second most powerful province, and probably by quite a distance if you just look at the sheer size and numbers in it. So yeah, something I'd be really happy to see. Like I know in I want to say England with the FA Cup, there's teams are over the moon when they have to like host big teams. They get a big financial windfall out of it. So like I know Canada Soccer doesn't have the same money the FA has, obviously, but like I want us to get to a point when we're doing things like that. Match day live, Concacaf Champions League. Let's see if I can look up the other Concacaf scores for you today and yesterday. So, yep, here we go. So the quarterfinals, we had Philadelphia 1, Atlas 0. So that was a close one for Philly. They're going to be going into that second leg, which is in, I don't actually know where Atlas is, but no, I do. Mexico, so they're going to be going to Guadalajara with a slight lead. Leon were playing Violet today, the darlings of the last round. Famously knocked out Austin, a Caribbean team, beating an MLS team for like the first time in God knows how long. 5-0. It looks like the fairy tale story may be ending there, but it was a hell of a run, and like hoping their story can prove to be great inspiration, just like for Haitian football and Haiti in general. That country's going through a hell of a lot right now that hopefully I'll never have to relate to, or you at home listening to this, hopefully you'll never have to relate to that either. Montagua lost to Tigres today. Tigres will go into their second leg again in Mexico with a lead. So you have to fancy them, and hopefully you're thinking they'll be getting through to the next round. And then you have Vancouver versus LA, which is still at 0-0. So still pretty tight. Philadelphia with a 1-0 win. Atlas went down to 10 men as well. You wouldn't be like super confident, like, bet your house on them going through in that tie, but like you certainly got the somewhat of an advantage at this point. Looks like we had Michael there, and we no longer have Michael anymore. He's gone just like that. You blink and you miss him. Let's go for some of the stats in the Vancouver game, shall we? Vancouver had 4 shots. LA had 2 shots, which sounds surprising given the context of what Michael was saying, how LA looked to have dominated the game. I guess we can take away from that is like, Vancouver are surrendering a lot of the possession. They're not really surrendering many chances. They're doing the bend that don't break, and hopefully they can stay in that. Like, I feel like you get a lot of teams these days who like aren't possession heavy, but they make it work for them. And Vancouver have the 1 shot on target compared to LA 0, 34% possession. Vancouver 66, LA 205 passes. Vancouver 396 at LA, so that's a lot more passes than them, almost double the passes. 2 fouls, Vancouver, 4 to LA, 2 corners each, 2 offsides for LA. And that looks like it's going to take us into the second half. Brian White looks set to kick off. Everybody looks ready. The referee has tucked his shirt into his shorts the correct way. Can't have that. Can't be doing with that. Can't be doing with that untucked muck.
What is Vancouver's nickname? The Caps? Would you say it's Caps?
Yeah, short for Whitecaps.
Thank you. I totally missed that.
I don't know that, or the Whites. I don't know. I don't like it.
No. So for nicknames, they're blue and white. That's what they said. Or the Village.
Yeah, I've heard the Village before.
Really? I've never heard that.
It's part of the battle cry. Like, it takes the village sort of thing.
Okay. I mean, have you seen the movie The Village? It's fucking horrible. From M. Night Shyamalan.
I don't really watch a lot of M. Night movies, to be honest.
Oh, good thinking. I absolutely hate that man. I went to a movie once, not knowing he had anything to do with it, and I decided the whole movie thinking, "Holy shit, this movie's garbage." And his name came up at the end, and I yelled out in the theater, "Now that makes sense." Oh, I was pissed. I was tricked into seeing a movie by him, and I didn't want to.
I don't think I've ever like shouted anything out in a movie out of frustration or happiness or anything. I'll laugh and all that and maybe cry, but like I've never like just like decried something at the cinema.
I don't think I've actually yelled at anything other than that, if you could count that. It was after the movie, so I wasn't disturbing anyone.
The closest I've came to walking out of a movie was probably when I watched The Last Jedi, when I got to that part, like I thought the movie was winding down, and I got to that part where they were on like the salt planet, and it looked like they were just rehashing the Battle of Hoth.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I can't be bothered with this, but I was the one driving that day with my 2 friends, so I'm like, well, I can't just leave these 2 here. I've only ever left one movie once, I think, and it was because I was with a lady friend. And she got bored of the movie, if you get what I mean. Good ball there. Can you get onto it? Push it back.
To be fair, the movie was garbage. We weren't enjoying it. So we're like, you know what? You just want to leave?
Yeah, may as well. Like there's no point in staying into a movie you've already paid for it. Like, what you going to get out of it?
Yeah.
Like you see that chance there. They came kind of close. I think that was to Homie. Who is that his side? I think.
The homie, I've been calling him the Jomie the whole damn time.
It's like
Silent J.
Yeah. I've been down a lot of time. I just assume it's Silent J's. Oh, good early ball into the box, and it's cleared. Gressel.
You don't with Borjan. You always say Borjan.
Oh, that one is Borjan.
It's not. It's Borjan.
I've heard in commentary it's Borjan before.
I'm very familiar with Borjan, but I've also heard the hard J as well. So I don't know, but I always do Borjan.
I'll take it either way. I'm not gonna die on either hill. Let's go on pants, man.
Yeah, Captain Sweatpants.
You see the Vancouver fans are trying to make an atmosphere still.
Paul Raposo as probably man of the match for me. He's been outstanding on the back end for Vancouver.
He's a promising player for Vancouver. I think he's about 23, 24. Like, you think if he has a good season, maybe there's a conversation of him like being the outskirts of the Canada team.
The problem is in the six matches Vancouver's played, he's only started 3 of them.
Yeah, like I said, he's still relatively young, and they're doing like a couple of formation changes here and there, Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
He plays at left back, I believe, as well. Like
Yeah.
outside of so if we were to assume Davies is going to be using an attacking role
Oh,
for
fuck's sake.
Canada, if we assume he's going to be using an attacking role as either as a left winger or like a left wing back, like we're not going to see much of him just as a left back for Canada. So
Mhm.
you'd have to assume, like outside of Adekubi, there's probably room for some other left back in Canada to stake a claim there. And I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how that would. I don't know how that would be at this point. Thankfully, we've not had to worry too much about it. Oh, good ball
that
into
is
the box.
actually
Oh, it's White. Oh, just wait.
that is actually a
Oh,
very
just
good
wait.
point. A very good point that you just said is for when it comes to left backs, it's literally just Adekubi. Richie Larea could play that side, but he doesn't often. Or there's Alfonso Davies who drops back depending on the matchup or depending on how the game is going. But you're right, it's Adekubi or no one really. And
Mm-hmm.
Raposo could be that replacement, but we need to see more minutes from him, 100%.
I could see why people would want to argue maybe that being a penalty there, like the keeper on rushing onto Brian White. But really, I think that's just like two players going for the ball there. Like
Yeah,
it'd be
I wouldn't give
very
that.
soft. A great ball in though. It's like stuff like that's very encouraging for Vancouver.
That was a
Like
very
we've
good
seen them
point.
get into dangerous positions a lot in this game. Like if they were able to like get that final ball,
Yeah,
there's definitely a goal in here for them.
that was a very good ball in and a good chance. And that's just been Vancouver's story tonight. They get the ball into the box, but they're not able to finish a lot of this.
That just like you said, they had the world's most unluckiest striker playing up top.
Yeah. Hey, again, you had a good weekend though. So, I mean,
Oh, he
who on
did.
Vancouver didn't have a good weekend though?
I was gonna say, like, playing Montreal does wonders for you.
Apparently, it does now. Yeah, now that Alistair Johnson's not there.
Alistair Johnson, Mihalovic, Coney. Coney's a big one. If they could have
Yeah.
stayed on to him for another year, like he probably would have been in a shout for like the best young player in the MLS this year if he already wasn't.
Can you think? I mean, I guess Tejon Buchanan, but I think Buchanan had a little bit more time in MLS. My question was, can you think of another Canadian player who was attracted so fast to Europe once they made their MLS team? I mean, there
Davies.
was Davies, but Davies was being watched when he was like 14, 15 years old. The problem was he wasn't allowed leaving until he was 18, right? That was the big thing there.
It's a good question. Like, I'm not sure if I know the answer to that off the top of my head. I'm trying to run through the Canada squad right now and think of who's there. Like, yeah, Lan spent quite a bit of time in MLS. David has never played in MLS. Davies moved fairly quickly. Eustachio never played in MLS. Up ball into the box. Well defended there initially. Ball still with LA. Blackman's got to hold him up. Ball's out to LA in the middle of the field.
You could think of maybe a player currently in the MLS, Joe Waterman, and just specifically because he got the call up to Canada for the World Cup. Maybe that's where my idea comes from for him. But I mean, he's still in the MLS, right? So he hasn't made that move to Europe yet.
I'm a little worried about him that like there's a chance that like him and Kamal Miller could stagnate if this Montreal team.
Oh, it's a very good chance.
If this isn't just bad form and this is how they are this season, I think there's a real danger of those two stagnating.
Yeah, especially that summer window opens up and European teams are looking to look for that spark to give them a good start of the season.
I think if they're having a bad season, Miller's going to be jumping ship. Like, he's already sounds as if his long-term future wasn't at Montreal the way he was talking earlier. And if there's really nothing to play for there, Montreal are going to move on from anyway. You may as well try and maximize that value while there's more time on his contract. 100%. That's so unlucky for White there. Nearly took the ball off the keeper there. Having the keeper having like a little ding-dong there now, aren't they?
That's not his first time, man. Earlier in the game, I don't think he almost threw one right to one of the Vancouver players. Just missed it too, fuck.
Came close. I like that. I like teams that press. Vancouver, when they do press, they are really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, 99 gets past Blackman there. Oh, how did that not go in?
Oh, again, that's the story of the game. Everyone's just missing these chances.
Yeah, that was a bit of a funny one there, eh?
Oh, it just came up off the keeper. It just bounced back weird, I think, is what you're seeing.
Philip Bowanka got past Brown a bit too easily there.
So Vancouver's keeper, agree with me. He's been the best off-season accusation for them. Like, he has.
Well, goalkeeping was such a poor position for them last year, especially compared to 2021 when they had Crepo. Like, Crepo, in a way, like him and Ryan Gaul were the reason they got to the playoffs in 2021. And you've seen with our goalkeeping last year, like how many times did we watch a Vancouver game and we're like, the keeper could have done better there. I remember specifically that Nashville game we watched where, like, in hindsight, that's probably what cost them the playoffs, was losing that game at home. There was at least one goal in that game, I remember, that he should have saved, which ended up costing them. They just never looked that confident back there.
Who was their keeper last year? Do you remember who it was?
They went through a couple. I think Hassel played the majority of their games, but they went through like a litany of keepers, which is never good. Oh, good check. Oh, good check down for White, goes to goal, shot is blocked. Gresso plays the ball in, and it's cleared. It looks like Tybert's recycled the play. Vancouver there's definitely a goal. There's definitely a goal in here.
Oh, there's definitely and it was nice. I was saying at the start of the stream, there. Nice to see Tybert get into the lineup as well. He hasn't started in league this season, so I think it was good to see him. And again, he's played with Vancouver since 2011. He's played over 10 years with this club.
Yeah, he's a captain. He's not exactly the most popular player. Like, he's, put it this way, he's a captain and he doesn't really start for the team all that often.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's just there as just like a service at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, he's, how old is he now? He's got to be.
I don't think he's even that old.
No, I mean, maybe not. Maybe he's just been with the club.
Oh, what a hit, son!
He's 30 years old. Like, he's definitely a player.
What a hit!
He's definitely a player. Once, oh,
tell me you've seen that.
Bar down and all. Fuck. And he's the one who missed the chance that I was telling you about. It's like how that LA was going to regret. But yeah, that's massive fucking goal. Good
Dennis Bouanga. Oh, if you haven't seen that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see the replay and describe that for you. That was a fantastic strike. Nothing Takayuka could do about that.
And Vancouver's keepers is like, yeah, there's nothing I could do there.
Such a shame as well. It seemed to come out of nowhere. He gets it from looks about 30 yards out. He hits that so clean from 30 yards out.
Yeah.
Lots of power behind it.
Yeah.
He hits it so high as well. As if it's like it goes over Takayuka and then down. Like, it's almost like a lob.
It was just a perfect dip. Perfect dip.
The perfect dip. We need to give him like some sort of natural, like, pun-related nickname now. The perfect dip from Bouanga.
As long as he's not chewing dip, then I'm okay with him.
Yeah, that's a real body blow for it. That's a real body blow for Vancouver. Like I said, they were playing really well. We thought there was a goal in them. There could still be, but like, it's never good to concede an away goal in these ties, which is what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Certainly don't want to make it 2-0. 1-0 going into LA. At least you know what you got to do. Like, it's fairly simple. Score or die. Two goals. Yeah. I'm not going to say the tie's over, but like, you've got a very big mountain to climb.
Yeah, it's a pretty big one. It is definitely a big one.
Yeah, it makes it more likely we're going to see Betcher now.
I think so. Honestly, I agree with you there. I was saying on the stream as well, I was hoping Happy Bula gets us some time, but I don't know if this is a situation where you'd see him get some field time.
Yeah, like, I would like to have seen Ali Ahmed play in this game, especially how well he did against Montreal, and like, he seems to be like the next big thing at Vancouver. But again, I can understand the context of the game, like, for being Champions League. I don't know. Somebody warming up there for Vancouver.
It's probably Betcher or Ahmed. I 100% agree with you there, honestly.
I think it's Ali Ahmed. That'd be good to see. And Ellie got the ball away there. Another ball into the channel, cut back. Header. Oh! A player does get on the end of that crossback, but it just goes too high. Dahomey, he can't get a shot on target there. Vancouver are really good at working those channels, getting a ball in there. And that was one of the first times I've actually been able to they've been able to connect on the delivery there.
Yeah. Yeah, Vancouver had and the guy's just like, fuck you. Yeah, that was a poor attempt on goal. Like, I understand the way the ball comes in. It's going to react different, but that was just a poor attempt, I feel. Unfortunately.
Bouanga's through. Can Vancouver? Oh, we've got to be careful touching him there. They're appealing for a penalty. It seems like the game just kind of stopped there for a second. No one quite knew what was going on, but Vancouver get the ball out. It's up to Gressel on the right wing.
No, it's not a pen. Just looking back on it, I can't see that being a pen.
I don't think it's a pen.
Vancouver played on.
Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? It's like one of those ones where like the game kind of stops for a minute. It looks like nobody quite knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, you know what they say, play to the whistle, right? You played to that whistle. But yeah, no, I mean, Vancouver's done well. Like, I know they're losing, but they've done a good job staying in the game and just overall limiting LA's chances. I think we have to see how they play it in LA. That's going to be the big question, especially now you need 2 goals essentially.
I'm looking at the bench now. Yeah, Habibullah, Ali Ahmed, Simon Betcher, Caicedo. Those are probably the players you can be looking to bring on to change this up.
I 100% agree. I think we'll see Ali Ahmed and also Betcher. I think those are the 2 subs Vancouver actually might need to make now, honestly.
I just want to see exciting players on. I'm not a Vancouver Whitecaps fan. I just want to see exciting players.
I mean, I'm not a Vancouver fan either, but I want to see them do well. You know, I want to see them win. I think it's important for a Canadian team to start making some noise. With the World Cup coming up, we want to see some noise in Canada soccer, not just at a national level, but at a club level. We want people knowing who we are, that we're around to make noise, you know?
Especially, well, Vancouver's going to be obviously very heavily involved in the World Cup as well. So you want to get this city as energized with the sport as possible.
100%. And I don't know, maybe the marketing is a problem. Maybe get more marketing into Vancouver Whitecaps. Or, you know what, fuck it. They have 2 other teams in BC. I don't think they're that far from Vancouver. One of them is called Vancouver.
I think Vancouver and Pacific have done well for themselves. Like, we're still the jury's still out in Vancouver's attendance, but attendance shows haven't played a game. Oh, what is Vancouver doing there?
What attendance?
That's embarrassing stuff, man.
What attendance are you kind of thinking of for Vancouver FC?
That is embarrassing.
Oh, did they score here?
Cuba, yeah.
Oh, fucking hell!
You're not gonna believe it when you see it.
Yeah, I just got it. Fucking hell! That's embarrassed. That's a fucking blunder.
Lost for words there as well, man. Like I don't know what to say.
That's harsh. That is harsh, and that puts a nail in the coffin. It feels like too. That's going to take all the energy out. Going down 1-0 is hard enough, but when you let it go like that, that hurts.
Is it Cubas as well?
True. It was Cubas, yeah.
He's usually one of Vancouver's steadiest players on the ball. He's one of the most talented, gifted players.
It was a question mark. Like, get rid of it. What are you doing with it?
Bowen get involved again though. He scores the first goal, creates the second goal with the pressure.
I just don't understand what you're doing. Get rid of it.
I wonder how much can be said on the goalkeeper, perhaps given the ball in that position, knowing there's players around him.
Yeah, but to me, that's a typical goalie pass. You know, you have the supports. I think once he makes the pass, it's up to the defenders to do something with it, and he didn't.
I don't know if there's clearly players and pressure around him. Like, it's going to be man on the minute he gets the ball. Like, he shouldn't be the one getting the ball if there's other options there.
And here comes Ali Ahmad, like we said.
Ahmed and Betcher. All right.
Which you said the 2 subs that need to be made now, which I said, like, you know, just before the goal happened. so for those
aren't familiar with away goals, what this means is, say if Vancouver were to score to make this 2-1, they still have to score 2 goals in Los Angeles, because if they win 1-0 in Los Angeles and the score's 2-2 over 2 legs, Los Angeles would advance because they scored 2 goals away from home. So
I mean,
Vancouver
something back. Get something here.
So Vancouver, don't make this worse or make it 2 each. Either way, you got to score 2 goals in Los Angeles to win this game.
Yeah, unless you get a good comeback here, we'll see. But
how do you feel about away goal rules? Like, so we've got it in like Concacaf, we don't have it in UEFA anymore.
They took out UEFA. I'm okay with them because I think home field advantage means more with it, right? Because you should be winning or at least putting up a better fight. I understand why they got rid of it, because it almost makes no sense in all honesty, right? To allow it to go forward just because they scored more goals in one game.
I don't think it was fair to the team playing at home in the second leg if a game went to extra time. Yeah, because you have to play longer with the jeopardy of an away goal than the other team.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. If people in the chat are watching, let us know what you think about the away goal. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see it gone? I'm no different to it. I'm okay with it, but I understand why you do get rid of it.
The away goal initially came in like back in the day, like, you know, when like a team going from like England to Yugoslavia was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
And like obviously you're going to be, it was like very defensible, boring football. So it was designed to like incentivize away teams playing in unfamiliar territory. But like the
Right.
problem is like European football now, like it's just so easy and accessible. Like nowhere is hitting ground anymore.
It's not like a 2 or 3 day journey anymore, right?
No,
It's a couple hours.
Concacaf's a bit different. It's clear to see that there very much is home advantage. Like, you know, for a team from Costa Rica playing a team from Canada, like there's just such a difference in like climate, atmosphere, facilities. Like I'm happy with away goals in Concacaf. I totally understand it with UEFA. I was a bit iffy about it at first, but like you get over that quickly because like I think it creates more drama too. Like I want to see more extra times. I want to see more penalties. I want all that good stuff. But one get in the box again. Oh, it's
game over.
So tell you what, 3 cheers for Boanga, eh? Hip hip.
Pedro Felipe's telling us it's 3-0, and I'm a little bit behind on the stream, and yeah, he's having a good game.
He has tore Vancouver apart in what feels like 10 minutes. Was it 0-0 10 minutes ago?
Yeah, like this is frustrating. Vancouver's put up such a good fight to lose like this now. This is the game we expected now. This is when all the pundits were saying Vancouver has pretty much no chance. This is what they were talking about. At the end of the day, LA was going to come out on top and show the dominance that they have, not just in this competition, but just as a team they are. Like, LA is so stacked.
Again, it just makes a couple of Vancouver defenders look silly there.
Yeah, it was just... And nothing the goalie could do either, right?
Nah, it's like...
Nothing.
You get these people who are like adamant that like any shot at a keeper's near post has to be saved, but like, have you ever tried to stop an object flying at you at like 50 kilometers an hour? It does not matter what side it's coming at you at. If it's going fast enough, you're not saving it.
I was in a sevens league once for a year, and I was a defender, and someone shot the ball around my face, and I threw my hands I was in the box. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, I paid $20 to play here. I'm not taking a shot to the face for you guys, you muppets.
I gotta say, like, that must get drilled into you so much as a defender. Like, so often my natural instinct would probably just be like,
yeah.
I would be useless at free kick. I would be useless in a free kick goal.
I went up to the goalie afterwards, like, I'm sorry, but he's like, I do not blame you whatsoever. Like,
why do you think I'm in goals?
Well, because the goal went in, so I was like, I'm sorry. He's like, dude, I do not blame you for that.
Maybe that's why I was a goalkeeper a lot whenever I played football when I was younger.
So you could use your hands to protect your face.
Or like when I do play outfield, I try to go like, if not left back, like the left-hand side of defence as much as possible, depending on how many people I'm playing with, because I feel like I can avoid the direct shots that way, you know?
Yeah, I wonder the difference between handballs back in the day. Before, I mean, I know there's VAR now, so handballs in the box are probably rose. But I wonder if back in like the early 70s, 80s, maybe even before that, how often it was to get a handball in the box because people were like, "Fuck's sake, get the hell away from me."
I feel like one day it used to just be pretty simple. It was if it's hand to ball, it's handball. If it's ball to hand, it's not.
And it's not really like that anymore, right?
It's just full blown like if the ball hits your hand, which is kind of crap.
Well, now it's more away if your hand's away from your body, right? If your hand's away from your body,
it's to do with like unnatural position or like unnatural position or not. Like it's much more interpretive now.
Oh fuck! Is that another one?
No, don't worry. No. I would like to see some. I would just want it to come across more black and white. Like sometimes it still feels a bit interpretation. Like it
100% is. It's really up to the ref.
I still don't really know what a handball is.
It depends on the ref. It truly does. And we've seen refs call something one way and a ref doesn't the other game. It was a big. I think it's a problem every game, honestly. But I think there was one game, if I remember right. I'm trying to remember. Not one game specifically, but 2 or 3 years ago in the Premier League, they were really being strict on defenders who slid in with their hand up, and they were calling that a lot. But people were saying that's bullshit because I'm just trying to get my body in the way, and then it's like, oh, well, you have to be responsible for your hands. You have to notice where these things are going. VAR, I think, has hurt it a lot as well because it takes away the ref's interpretation as well.
I don't mind VAR in practice. It just depends who's using it. It's a tool that's supposed to help football, and it does.
Yeah.
The problem is like if you have like dopes in charge of it.
Yeah, I think the problem with VAR
seems to use it no problem.
To me, my problem with VAR is where and when they use it. I believe VAR should be used for 2 occasions: potential offsides or potential pens in the box.
I feel like it mostly is though. Like, I don't really see.
The problem is
Maybe I've not watched.
not,
Maybe I've not seen it enough games. I don't feel like I've seen. Whenever I see VAR, it tends to be like in the context of offsides or things in the box. I don't.
But
Yeah, I've never seen like a. I've never seen a free kick like from the 25 yards out contested by VAR.
I have seen fouls that lead up to a goal. So if you fouled someone in your own end to win the ball, and they come up and score, they'll look at that play. And if that was a foul, they'll take the goal away. And that I hate. Because at that moment, you take away how the ref wants to play the game. Once you start telling the ref, hey, that's a yellow, that's a red, hey, that's a foul, what's the point of having the ref there?
To be fair, like
the ref should be able to call the game as he wants.
To be fair, it's not like rugby is like that, where like the guy in the TV box, like he tells the referee on the pitch, like, do they call it a pitch in rugby? Whatever. Like they say like so. you may award the try, you may not award the try. In football, like they insist on having them jog over to like a wee screen to like review it. Like I still think the referee on the field still has the power. It's just that like some boffin in a room like is recommending them to them. And then they're both referees. So like this, I mean, like referees, like they're trained the same way. So if the video assistant referee thinks his decision, odds are the referee on the pitch is going to agree with them because they're doing the same job.
The problem is with that is when a ref turns down VAR, that creates so much fucking hassle. We've seen it happen before in South America where one ref in one game turned down like 3 VARs and it caused hell. And also, what's the point of VAR? And the refs going to be like, no, I'm not going to look at it. I'm calling the game this way. Once a ref turns on VAR, you're creating arguments because if the call was wrong and the ref refuses to look at it, that is a huge problem.
What I would say is I feel like we need to implement a South America clause just because like everything's wacky down there.
But you get my point though. Even if we're independent.
I do, yeah. But like, what did the Vancouver almost came close to getting one back. Their ball put into the box. Betcher comes close to it. Looks like it's cleared for a corner.
Oh, the ball, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. That was close. You just missed that little flick there or a little touch from Betcher, yeah.
One goal would be nice. Again, as it stands, like it looks like Vancouver's going to need 3 goals going into Los Angeles either way, so maybe we'll get one of them here.
Before, it's just extremely hard.
We've seen it before. We just probably won't see it in the context of this fixture.
Yeah, exactly.
Ball into the box. Oh, I should have put that Betcher. Oh, the form he's in, you would have thought he would have finished that there. He just puts it above the post, puts it above the bar.
Fuck,
that was a chance to get back into this.
That was a good header from Betcher again. Surprise, surprise. Is this saying anything to us?
You see his movement as well. He does great to get himself like in between 3 LA players. He's marked up and he creates that space for him to be no one around him. He's done all the right things there. He's just unlucky that didn't go in. Sometimes
I feel like, especially on corners and crosses, you're just lucky to get the ball on goal and not always focus on where it's going, right? It's like get it on target and hope it's in the right direction where it's not always about putting it up or down. You get what I mean?
Corners really are just like a funny little phenomenon in football because everyone gets really excited and acts as if it's like a big goal scoring chance. But like, if you I was gonna say like the percentage of corners that like directly lead to goals is probably incredibly low.
I've thought about it before actually. I've had that thought where I'm
like teams literally will spend hours on a training field per week practicing to defend as one thing. Like
yeah, you're right.
They're probably good at it. Like most like that's like off the top of my head, I know like 1 in every 20 corners will probably get scored. Even that actually sounds a bit generous.
Actually, I want to see if I can find this stat. How, on average, how many?
Speaking of corners, that was a bad corner by LA, but Boanga gets the ball again.
So I have.
Here's me thinking he nearly had an assist for a 4th goal.
So if you guys are watching and you're familiar with our podcast, we like to do a little game. Paul, would you like to take a guess on percentage of how many corners go in?
Can you give me an over and under? Or do you want me to just give you a percentage number off the bat?
Give me a percentage number off the bat, and then I'll direct you in a ballpark for a second.
I'm going to assume that 8% of all corners are scored.
Not a bad guess, a little bit lower. You want to take another guess?
Lower.
A little
Why
bit
do
lower.
people get? Why do crowds get excited for these? 6%.
3 to 4% of corners find the back of the net.
That doesn't surprise me.
Do you know the percentage of penalty kicks going in the goal? I don't know if this help. I was about to say, I don't know if this helps you, but it's actually lower than I thought it would be, and it's higher than 68.
Oh, so maybe that says something about you and me when it comes to penalties. I'm going to go with 74.
Very close. 76% of pens find the back of the net.
You know what? That sounds about right. Like 3 in every 4 penalties, like getting scored. That sounds about right to me.
Well, I guess because somebody's gonna miss eventually, right? And then, I guess I don't know, I'm an English fan as well. Maybe that's why I just don't watch pen. I mean, I watch them. I just hate myself for watching pens every time it happens. Even when Canada's past window with Kyle Lowry missing his pen against Honduras. I mean,
long ball into the box caused a bit of havoc. Ellie still haven't got it cleared yet. Ball breaks to Becker. Tries to hook it or goal, and it goes up.
Is it
back.
Becker or Betcher? I think it's Betcher.
I keep saying Becker. I keep getting mixed up with Kyle, I think, from Forge, unfortunately, but it is Betcher. So ignore me when I say Becker. It's Betcher. So everybody has that one player, right? They can't pronounce the name right. I guess this is mine.
Oh, mine is most of the ones in Europe. Outside of England, I'm fucked. I hate talking about like Kyle Lowry's new team, Real Valladolid. I don't even know if that's right.
I thought it was Valladolid, just because I thought that sounded Spanish.
I don't fucking know. One question I have for you, because we've talked about Vancouver FC's attendance and struggles. Where do we see not Vancouver FC, Vancouver Whitecaps? So where do you see Vancouver FC's attendance? Like, do you think it's gonna be high end? Do you think it might be a little bit lower because they are competing with other markets?
I don't know how much they'll compete with the Whitecaps because as much as they have the same name, like you got to remember Vancouver FC they're based in Langley. They're more of a Fraser Valley area team than they are like downtown Vancouver, which is where the Whitecaps play. Right. So I don't think they'll cannibalize each other in that sense. I think you might get like a couple, at the very most, a couple hundred Whitecaps fans who will go and watch some Vancouver FC games. Right. I don't see any reason why it can't be along the sort of like baseline with most teams. Like I don't see any reason why they can't get to that sort of 3,000, 4,000 range that other teams get to.
Yeah, I'm hoping we don't get another York situation here.
I think part of that is just like the York Stadium's not exactly in a great area. It's like a college stadium that's just kind of like
what the owners believe
put together.
The owners believe you build it and they will come, and I really hope that's the case for the club.
Hopefully, yeah, because like at the worst case scenario, that's new stadium that York are going to get. It's going to also be a training facility for Canada teams, and
that's true.
If we get like a women's team with Toronto, either in the women's the Diana Matheson League, or if you can get like Toronto in the NWSL, they can play there too. Because I think BMO's just too booked up at this point. So yeah, but Toronto needs another stadium.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that, and especially because BMO's going to be going under construction. Did you mention that?
Will be, yeah. It's not going to go fully under construction, but like, you know, that sort of like stand where it looks like there's temporary seats. Like that's going to have to, that's going to get overhauled because BMO right now is currently below the capacity required to host World Cup games.
Right.
BMO, on the top of my head, I think it's around the 30,000 mark. It needs to get to at least 45,000 to host World Cup games. So they're going to be expanding it to 45,000. It's a huge task, it looks like, but like hopefully they can do it. I was a little surprised that like I know this, and I understand you want to keep it to soccer stadiums, but like I know the Sky Dome, there's going to be a lot of renovations getting done to that. I'm wondering like if there was ever a conversation about the Sky Dome hosting World Cup games in that sense, especially if it's going to be like the shiny new toy come 2026. But yeah, again, like I can totally understand why you want soccer stadiums to be used for a soccer World Cup.
Yeah, and I think just York getting that stadium, not just for the club, but for like you said, for the city, and it could bring a lot of exciting just aspects that York might not have the advantage of right now, because York doesn't have maybe the same training facilities as someone like Forge or Ottawa, right?
Yeah, so they're playing at the university stadium.
Exactly, and I'm sure it's decent enough, but you have to think that they are held to a disadvantage in some categories. And I think again, something that I've always preached about York is I really enjoy their owner. I think he's done a great job and how confident he is about the club, and he's invested.
It's a team that tries a lot.
He's had good off season after good off season. I enjoy the owner.
The attendance issues, like it's not from a lack of trying. And like, well,
Yeah.
I will say, like, we know a lot of like passionate York fans. So the people who like you, who are York
Yeah, we
fans, they
do
really are
actually.
York fans, and they love the team. So
Yeah.
like, they've got a great base there. So like, I can't see York attendances getting lower. I can only see them going up.
Yeah, I
And
can't see it being
like,
an Edmonton situation.
I definitely have high hopes on this. I feel like I can say I have high hopes for every team in the CPL this season, but like York for sure is one team I do have high hopes for. And if they can get to the playoffs, it'd just be fantastic because like, you know, you don't like to say a team deserves it or not because that's not how football works. You have to go and earn it. But like they've done all the right things, so like it'd be a fitting reward for them. Oh, good ball there. Oh, very unfortunate there. For LA. Easily could have been 4 goals. Dangerous ball across the box there. Wanga, he was nearly on course for a hat trick there. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a hat trick at this rate.
No, he's had a really good game.
He's
now man of the match. First half, I was all over Raposo, but definitely that lad now for sure. Unfortunately, because again, I think Raposo was out of the game.
I don't watch a lot of LAFC, but also with the podcast, we focus on Canadian MLS teams. The next time LAFC play a Canadian MLS team, I think I want to focus on that again because I like seeing him play. Actually, it's very direct.
Yeah, I
want to see him again.
I'll be definitely watching more Champions League, even if Vancouver end up ultimately falling out.
Hey,
you know, it's not over until the fat lady sings, and
she's warming up.
She's warming up. She ain't done yet. All right.
She's standing in the tunnel.
She's standing in the tunnel, drinking some hot water with lemon juice. You know.
Is that good before you go singing hot water? Then it'll just burn your throat.
I don't fucking know. I mean,
I don't sing. I just assumed that would be good for you drinking hot water.
Well, I guess they tell you to do it after you strain your voice. Maybe I don't know.
I don't even know.
Yeah, this second half has been very disappointing with Vancouver. It's not the same Vancouver we saw in the first half. Not even close.
I'm going to disagree a little bit and think I thought Vancouver were playing really well until that first goal came in, and then they just collapsed for about 10 minutes.
Yes, but to be fair, that first goal came 10 minutes into the second half.
No, I feel like it came later than that, doesn't it?
No, 55 minutes.
Well, they made it 3-0 at the 65th minute. 55. Well, it was a good 10. It felt longer than 10 minutes, wasn't it? That was a long 10 minutes. Let me tell you that.
No, that's on you. I didn't feel that way.
Did you not? I mean, you've been watching more of this game than me. Like, I thought Vancouver came out the traps very well to start the first half, and I was just like that. That thunder bastard of a shot from Boanga was like a pin going into the Vancouver balloon.
Yeah, but Vancouver had a lot of chances in the first half. Like this, I think, in all honesty, for Vancouver, it should be at least 3-1. At least.
They played well enough. They played well enough for a goal. Like I certainly don't think they deserve to lose this game 3-0. I'm just like you know, you look at it like, okay, first goal, nothing you can do about it. Second goal, certainly could have prevented that. Third goal, again, some individual brilliance, but like there's just it doesn't. Yeah, and because of the way it happened, it's just been like a bit sobering to watch if you're supporting Vancouver. But I guess that's why LAFC are the MLS champions, eh? They can just do this to teams.
No, exactly. And that's why a lot of people had Vancouver ruled out. And a lot of people will say, like, oh, look at the score, it's 3-0. But the score doesn't always tell the story, right? Now, this past weekend, Vancouver winning 5-0 told the story. I don't think this 3-0 game tells the whole story of this match. It helps direct it, but it doesn't tell the whole story.
I think it's a bit indicative of Vancouver's this season. Like we said, we're talking about like how when they look good, they're really good. But like, just how many times this season have they, they've had a lead and they've lost it fairly quickly?
Yeah,
you look at that. You go back to that first game of the season against Real Salt Lake where they were winning and it looked fairly comfortable, and then just something happened, and then just something switched off in their heads, and like Salt Lake were all over them, and next thing you know, it was 2-1. Similar sort of thing against San Jose too. Like when they switch off, they look really bad.
Now, to be said, though, Vancouver is on a 4-game point streak in the MLS. They haven't lost the games since losing the first 2 of the season. So it's not bad. Like, they are getting something going there.
I've still got an eye on Vanni Sartini. I still feel like he has to play off sort of bare minimum this season for him. If I'm the brass at Vancouver, I want playoffs at least. Otherwise, I think I'm putting him on the chopping block.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. And Vancouver's just had no luck with coaching. Like we just saw Mark DeSantos hugging the player there. He's former Vancouver head coach. He's now the assistant on LAFC. I think he's an amazing manager. He just had a hard time in Vancouver, and he's not the only one though. We just see that being a constant trend of managing in Vancouver.
And that brings it back to what we're talking about, the apathy. Like, if you have so many managers who can't make it work, sooner or later, it's no longer the managers, it's the owners.
Yeah, and I'm not too familiar with the owners of MLS when teams go wrong or teams go bad. Like in Europe, we constantly see teams sell off once they start getting relegated all the time, right? And the MLS, we don't really have that. So, in your opinion, when owners leave the MLS teams, do we see it often? And what's usually the fashion of it?
I don't think Vancouver have actually changed like ownership, like because like ownerships would buy the team into MLS.
Yeah, it's a lot different, right? It's not like a European one.
Yeah, like you kind of buy like these ownership groups will like buy their way in. It's not as if like the team's like being promoted or something. Yeah, and like team, you make a lot of money in MLS. Like, there's no real reason for any ownership. Oh, great ball there, one on one.
Even if losing,
heavy touch. Takaoka does well there, but should be doing a lot better there with that chance he had.
You also have to look at like MLS is still in North America, right? And North Americans don't typically just sell their teams off. Who do you blame? You blame the coach, you blame the manager, you blame specific players. That's the nature of North American sports.
In the context of NFL, I follow NFL a lot. Typically, like teams only get sold if the owner's been cancelled or if the owner's died.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say the same thing for the for NHL, which I cover more or follow more of. I'd say it's very similar process. I mean, you see with the Ottawa Sounders, their owner passed away last year, and they're looking to sell, and possibly Ryan Reynolds is jumping on that. But we've also seen rumors of The Rock. So my point is though is, I think you're all right. I think you're right there. Owners change if death occurs, and that's North America for you. It's not the same as Europe. So
yeah, Europe is a lot more volatile. Look at Chelsea, for example. Todd Boehly spent like billions of dollars, like just either buying Chelsea and or putting together a team, and it looks like they're going to finish 12th.
Yeah.
And like he probably won't, but like if he was to turn around next season and go, I've made a big financial loss on this for no real return, I want to sell. That's much more of a possibility than say a team in the MLS who finishes bottom in the MLS have their manager do that.
Mm-hmm.
Not the manager, sorry, the owner.
Yeah, and I guess also with the MLS, like I understand like the owners are still paying the players, but like in Europe, I think it's a bigger it's a bigger of like when you're spending your money as an owner, it's I think under the radar more, I guess is the way you say it. It's under the
it's thought of less as like the owner's money and more of the club's money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Manchester United is a famous example for that. Like people go on about, they spent all this much, but like none of it has technically been like the Glazers' money. It's been money that Manchester United, the club, have generated.
Yeah,
it's not been from cash that the Glazers have put in.
Yeah, that's a good point as well.
Obviously, that's not the case of every team, like PSG and all that. But like a lot of clubs, like they try to like. It's a lot to do, like the famous saying, like net spend. It's a lot to do with net spend.
Mm-hmm. So I guess what we're saying is at an MLS level, if you can't get rid of the owner, you look at someone else. You look at director of football. You look at chairmen. You look at obviously manager's the first to go, but like you said, only so many bad managers tells a story. And once you get to a certain point and no manager's working, well, then it's more than just the manager. So I think you look at like director of soccer, you look at the chairmen, you look at the people who aren't signing the paycheck and be like, what do we do? How do we make a difference? What do we change? Maybe it's our youth. Maybe we got to start building players, growing players more.
Vancouver just have to look down the road. Like when those three Cascadia teams came into the league around the same time, like Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland. Vancouver are probably like the best of the three. Like they won more Cascadia Cups. They were a very successful team in the level they were all playing at. But it looks like Portland and Seattle are just like miles above Vancouver off the pitch and on the pitch in every single way. As if they've kind of been like left behind those other two Cascadia teams. Portland and Seattle is built as like the big rivalry. Like that's one of the biggest rivalries. You don't really hear about it as much in the context of like Seattle, Vancouver. It's Seattle, Portland.
No, exactly. And I agree with you there. I think a big question when it comes to Vancouver Whitecaps is what's their identity? All good teams have identity, I feel. And when you don't have an identity, you start to lose and you start to question a lot of things. Does Vancouver have an identity?
I think they want their identity to be like Sartini's a very passionate and fiery guy, and like when they're clicking, they're a very quick team who will press, get balls into the box, and harass you. I think they want to be that type of team, like a high press, like not like Jurgen Klopp style. That's a bit intense, but sort of like I don't know, like diet Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, I remember Vancouver FC. I won't do this all the time now. Vancouver
Google
Whitecaps
does it.
is...
You type Vancouver FC into Google, you get Whitecap stuff.
Yeah, so if Google does it, why can't I? You have to remember, Whitecaps are where Alphonso Davies grew. Now, I mean, one player doesn't say everything, but it shows potential of what the MLS can do, right? If you just
One thing I'd say there is like, especially last season, whenever Davies was in Canada, you seem to associate him more and see him more at FC Edmonton games.
Yeah, he has been.
You never really see him like have much to do with Vancouver,
which is weird. Yeah, you're right. But to be fair, his family's in Edmonton.
1-on-1, his Betcher got it. He does have the ball holding up a bit, a little bit wide. Fell down the ground too easily there.
But like you said, his family's in Edmonton, so when he's in Canada, he's probably in Edmonton, and he's just not in the Vancouver area. Maybe that's just the sole reason. I don't think he hates Vancouver.
I don't think so, no. But like, you feel like it'd be an easy win, right, for like Whitecaps, like higher ups or whatnot, to speak to Davies when he's in Canada. Like, how hard can it be to get like a plane from Edmonton to Vancouver just for a day?
Get him to the game.
Advertise he's going to be there at halftime or something, or have him doing autographs, like what we've seen with FC Edmonton. It's just little things like I know that's easier said than done. But like that's just an example of some of the things you can do to help themselves. You look at the BC Lions, the CFL team, like they have new ownership and they've done a lot of good work in the last year or so to build themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
You get more fans at Lions games than you do Whitecaps games.
Yeah.
And like they've put a lot of effort into winning fans and bringing fans into the stadium, much more than the Whitecaps do. They play in the same stadium, so there's plenty of inspiration there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a ball played across into the box, shot on target, and it's cleared away. I think that counts as a shot on target.
I wonder with when it comes to like someone like Davies, if you get him in there, does it make that much of a difference? I mean, I think it is a marketing thing, and
just wait. Yeah, I just mean it's like a marketing thing. Like I feel like you would get a couple more thousand fans like show up if like you advertise this game where like like I'm not saying have him go around doing concessions and all that, handing out the hot dogs and doing autographs. Just like have him do like the halftime draw or something, or speak to the fans at halftime on a mic or something. Like just do something. Yeah, no, that's fair. And yeah, you know, even he's literally like a Canada soccer legend at the age of what was he, 23 now? I don't even think he's got a late birthday in the year. I know that, so I think he's only 22. He's only 22. 22. So yeah, being a soccer legend at 22 years old, maybe someone like him just to, like you said, to have a speak, do a ceremonial coin flip or something. I don't fucking know, but it looks like LA are just kind of winding this game out now. They had a corner there. They were wasting time by the corner flag. So what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this game as a whole? I think we can say that it's wrapped up. Vancouver FC 0, LAFC 3. You've seen more of the game than me. Would you say this was coming? Yeah, 100%. I think even though Vancouver had a very good first half and they had a lot of chances, LA were still the better team. And in the second half, I think, like you said, I think they had a decent 10 minutes. But once that first goal came in, it felt done. That second goal, especially the fashion on how it happened, I think it just took all the energy out of the crowd, the energy out of the players. And unfortunately, they conceded another one as well. But again, coming into this game, everyone had no faith in Vancouver, and this is the game that they were expecting. And unfortunately, it's the game we got. I think if you don't make that blunder of a mistake for the second goal, this is still a 1-0 game. I feel like I'm going to be a little bit less harsh than you when it comes to Vancouver in this. I think they have they haven't looked out of place against LAFC besides like just sort of like a 10-minute spell of madness, which you can't obviously discount that. LAFC, like they are the best team in MLS. They proved that last year. Mm-hmm. Like if you, especially out in the West, like if you shut off against a team like them, they'll punish you, which is what they did. That's what champions do. Like, that big cliche. Yeah, so if Vancouver can feel a bit hard done by, but at the end of the day, like I mean, I don't even know how much
Yeah,
like
that's
the
game.
second goal for sure. Like Boanga's 2 goals. Like I'm not really sure what you could do, especially the first one. Second one, I don't know. But like sometimes a moment of magic is just a moment of magic. I think it was
Yeah.
just a case of like LA just had like they converted the chances. How many times did Vancouver get the ball into the channel, had a chance to put a ball across and wasted it? LA creates a couple of chances and they get 3 goals out of it.
Vancouver had a lot of troubles finding the extra touch in the box and setting up a solid chance. They had, I think, one shot on goal, and it was a hell of a save. Like, it should have went in. But missing chances like that is going to hinder your play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the big takeaway here is LA are just more clinical.
Yeah, 100%. And, like, when they're striking, you give them space to go and find answers. And a lot of the time, they just had that open pass constant going for LA. And Vancouver kind of let LA do what they wanted to do. Like, they just kind of let them move around and make those passes. They did a good job for the most part stopping the shots. But when you let someone pass around so much, they're going to find the slots.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is, unfortunately. 3-0 final. Hopefully, game 2 goes a little bit better. But anyways, that's
Can't
it
get
for
much
us.
worse.
I mean, it could go a lot worse, honestly. Thank you everyone who joined us. Thank you for everyone who subscribed during the live stream. And thank you for everyone who had a part of the conversation. You can find us on Spotify and all podcast streaming platforms at FC13 Podcast, where we release at least one podcast a week. We're starting to get a little bit more active and consistent on YouTube, so look out for stuff there. Make sure to subscribe. You can find me on Call Me Michael on Twitter. You can find the podcast as a whole on Twitter at FC13 Podcast. You follow us on Twitter. You can submit questions for the podcast. You'll also know when we're going live. And Paul, where can we find you?
On Twitter, I'm Paul McNulty 1996, and make sure to use our discount code for SeatGeek as well if you want to attend a soccer game in the future, or even if you want to see gigs, or you want to go to a rodeo or any other sports. Like we've got hockey playoffs coming up in hockey very shortly, and there's basketball too. So if you use our discount code FC13 Pod, you get $20 off your first order. I'm totally jealous of you because I used my first order on SeatGeek about 4 years ago. So unfortunately, I can't use it. But you do yourself a favor. Take a friend out for a game, or take a date out somewhere nice for a concert. Go and use it wisely. Use it wisely because I can't.
All right, thank you, Paul. Thank you for joining me on this live stream, and thank you everyone who stopped by and sat and watched with us. You all have a good one. And watching football or watching the FC13 podcast, it's like watching football through a microwave. Thank you, Andre.